Okay. So it indicated the possibility, especially now when there's an environment of greater advocacy, that it is a good thing for employees to be on the board, to speak up for employees and to speak up for the operational frontline units. So I'm curious what everybody thinks. What do you guys see a pro and con to that? Or are you totally, I'm good either way? Thoughts?
I mean, isn't the board, like, they're not supposed to be focusing on like operations? So maybe having an employee there might like turn the focus onto that. I don't know.
Very good point. Very good point. Okay. Anybody else? It's an excellent point. That's it? Only one thought on boards?
Well, I think also with an employee on the board, they can kind of bring in, like, when the board does implement some kind of program, the employee's going to really see those results of that implementation. So I think bringing that viewpoint would be beneficial, because a lot of times boards can just implement and they aren't right there with the results. So I think it'd be helpful seeing that the employee explain that and kind of looking at the positives and negatives of those programs.
Oh, that's a really good point. Wow, that's great. Yeah. So these all sound like excellent strategies that a board could also implement to improve the relationship with the entire organization, right? To improve alignment. Anybody else before we move forward?
I feel like it would be really tricky for the employee that's on the board to be an employee, because they're going to have so much pressure from their coworkers to like do something a certain way, or like and so I feel like that eventually they just lose their own perspective on things. It's going to be like harder for them to find a voice and like feel really welcomed and like incorporated into the company. I feel like they would almost be isolated to an extent.
That's also a really good point. Wow, this is fantastic. And every single one of these points is valid. So you can see why it's a conflict just in general to even consider putting an employee on the board. And again, why it's discouraged to put even the chief executive on the board, because the mindset is that they are considered an employee. They are an employee. So these are great perspectives. I don't know if anybody read about what happened over the weekend in Texas, which the outcome is clearly a just nightmare. And I really forgot, I wanted to share with you the article which discussed the organization that actually runs the grid for Texas. And I don't know if anybody had a chance to read it, but it discussed the board makeup of that organization. Did anybody by any chance? Just me that reads about this? Okay. But it turns out that half of the board is from out of state. And now, knowing what you know about boards, that may be one contributor, is that they are not seeing themselves affected by whatever issues that occurred in Texas, right? So that, I think, may or may not contribute to, how important certain planning tasks may have been, or what did and did not get done. So again, this speaks to, you really want to think about who's going to care about your board, who's going to care about what happens to your organization, both short and long term. Because don't get me wrong, it is great to have like a really big name, like a famous baseball player, because it helps with fundraising, right? So on that side, the face of the board is really critical, but you can't stack your board in that direction, because fundraising isn't everything. You still really need people that kind of are bought into the organization. So you gotta have that balance. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna move on and jump into the what I think are the two most important tasks of the board, aside from the CEO and all the other ones, which are, once again, the organization and the planning that goes on within the organization. So are there any questions? Let me make sure I don't miss anything. Okay. So let me pop this guy up. I'm gonna find that article and send it to you guys so you guys can see. Because I know that you will be burning to read it. Okay. Am I sharing a screen that's just slides? You see
Yeah.
a screen? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I have two screens and I always mess this up. Okay, so we're gonna jump right into planning. And like I said, I can't see you guys. So there, is anything blocking the screen now? No, okay, good.
No.
So holler at me if you have questions or if I'm missing anything, just holler and like unmute, literally holler, unmute. Because I'm trying to focus on the slides and not talk or not look. So, so we discussed about governance. We talked about how important it is. And essentially, so just in general, strategic planning is something that is the unsung task of an organization, right? I like to think of it as spring cleaning every few years. Some organizations, especially those that lack funding, will not do this as often as they should. The standard time frame is about a 3 to 5 year plan that is reviewed every 3 to 5 years, even though you do a brief review every year. You adjust every year. Right? Yes?
Sorry to interrupt. I think someone's in the waiting room.
Oh.
Sorry.
No, you're good, you're good. I'm glad. I don't remember how to get to my waiting room. Hold on. Oh, there it is, okay. Okay, we got him. We got her. You can put that down here in case. Okay, thank you. Okay, so let me find my train of thought. Spring cleaning. Oh yes, so we do. I get on my roll and then I kind of so think about it in terms of continuous improvement. Even this task is continuously improved as well. The time lag between things is going to change sometimes, but with this task, even if it's a 3 to 5 year plan, it doesn't mean we just do it and then forget it. Although this happens, again, remember, I'm telling you the sort of ideal situation of things. But the hardest part about strategic planning is that it requires so much review. And the other key part is that it's review from a baseline of some kind that you've set. So typically you'll have a previous plan that you can compare to. You can compare your growth, your change, your objectives, et cetera, et cetera. So you'll already have a template. This is not speaking to a new organization, which we're not going to talk about because that's a whole different thing. But the first thing that you look at is where you are, right? The org chart, and then what you want to look at: growth, capital investments, your market share. And so these are all things that you want to think about in terms of where you're physically located in your market, where you're financially located in your path as an organization, right? So this should remind us of internal, external uncertainty and threats, right? So again, I just kind of, again, specifically, what does it talk about? What does the strategic plan do? It determines priorities. That is really critical in a strategic plan. You cannot do all things. A plan is not all things to all people. And so the nice thing about a strategic plan is that it helps you prioritize what you're going to go at first. It doesn't mean that you ignore things, but it, well, then I open. Hang on. Oh my goodness, you guys, this is like an obstacle course of distraction. Oh, where'd they go? I just missed somebody in the waiting room and I did something. There we go. Okay. Okay, sorry. You know how hard it is to get on? I feel like I'm like dancing. My phone. Oh Lord, you guys, this is hard. Okay, Where was I? Are y'all messing with me? Is everybody timing this? Okay, so a strategic plan also helps you see where you're going, especially when you have so many conflicting demands. But it really helps you, especially in times like right now. So we'll talk a little bit about pandemic planning. And pandemic planning really isn't that different. As much as we want to freak out, it's really not that different from planning for uncertainty and planning for the future, because you're really still just guessing. But it's a really, really educated, coordinated guess, right? So you're guessing 3 to 5 years out, but you kind of have an idea based on what's happened in the past. Or if you don't know, if you're a newer organization, then you're guessing incrementally. But either way, you're still kind of guessing. And that's okay. But you want to increase your odds as much as you possibly can. But you don't want to be too safe, right? Because you want to stay competitive, you want to stay ahead of the field. So that's the hard balance, and why planning is so important. So a plan will answer 3 general questions, right? Where are we now, and where do we want to be? So point A to point B, and then how are we going to get there? That's it. That's strategic plan. I know, so easy. You thought it was going to be hard. It's super easy. But the key, and where it starts to get tricky, is that you have to align everything within the how. You have to align the vision, the mission, the goals, the objectives, the strategies, or whatever you want to call them. And it's all based, especially for healthcare, it's all based on metrics. So the key is really alignment. You'll hear me say align, 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 align. You'll start reading about it. If you start reading things like Becker's, or if you start Beckett's, I forget what it's called. You'll start seeing a lot about alignment, aligning with the mission, aligning with the objectives of the organization, the values. Does this align with our values? Things like that. And we'll talk a little bit about that with pandemic planning too, because again, remember what I said, a plan is not all things to all people. It's a plan, like plan A, right?
Dr. S, real quick,
Yeah.
you said metrics. Metrics in what context? Like aligned, the metrics have to be aligned. Like in what
Yes,
context?
at every level of the organization. So we'll get into that.
Okay.
We'll get into that because right now we've only talked about the organizational vision and mission, right?
Okay.
So we'll start into that. So, and this is exactly, actually, Talat, this is a perfect segue, because we've talked about the vision and mission, and those are pretty squishy, right? Those are pretty like, you can't count that. I can't count how many, what were some of the visions and missions we saw? Like, just do it. How many it's do I do? How many, the best healthcare system in the universe? Well, how many systems are in the universe that I can divide by to know if I'm like the top 5 or something, right? So there's no metric there. And that's the point of the vision and mission, right? So we're not intending to, and by the way, I'm by no means mocking any of those. That's the point of a vision and mission. I love those visions and missions. But we're not intending to measure those. That's not the purpose of a vision and a mission. When we get into alignment, we want to align our vision and mission into goals and objectives, right? So when we start thinking about, okay, well, how do we put rubber to the road? How are we going to start doing this? And I kind of gloss over values because for me, values are sort of the keywords of your goals and objectives too. But they follow your mission, vision, and values, right? So this is where you think, okay, in what areas are my directives going? What am I focusing on? What am I going to achieve to get towards that mission? So if you notice, it's kind of a backwards planning, right? So it's a bottom up, but we're going from the top down. So for example, general statements can be improve quality of care, improve patient satisfaction. That's still very general, right? That's still, but it's a lot more concrete than just do it or best system in the world. We know quality of care has a definition. We know patient satisfaction has a definition that can be measured. Are we kind of getting there?
Yeah.
So if not, just sit with me for a second. So you're more than likely, all of you, I want to see your little hands though. All of you have heard of SMART. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, timely. Let me see some fingers or hands or whatever. Everybody. Okay. One of the things that I have found in my review of many websites of, especially hospitals and not-for-profits actually, is that I no longer use SMART goals or SMART objectives because organizations use these interchangeably, most of the time incorrectly, and it doesn't matter. It depends on how they utilize them for their own purpose. So if they've assigned their values or if they've assigned their whatever semi-specific strategic direction as either a goal, then a SMART objective is the more specific element within that. So you'll have multiple objectives within a value, within a goal. Does that kind of make sense? And so the key is not what you call it, if you call it a goal or objective. The key is making something that is tangible and measurable, because you can't begin to achieve something if you have no baseline or comparison, right? So there's no improvement, there's no growth if you can't necessarily measure it. That's how we measure quality, that's how we measure improvement and performance, right? So that's the thing about performance in healthcare administration, is we care about performance. And for us, performance are specific metrics depending on whatever field you're looking at. If you're looking at quality, patient satisfaction, clinical outcomes, intermediate treatment outcomes, more specifically surgical outcomes, mortality. So depending on your level of analysis or depending on whatever you're looking at, it sounds like research, but it's very much the same things that you're going to be looking at within the hospital context. Whatever your outcome is, you have to find ways to be able to measure it, right? So that's exactly why they talk about the SMART approach. The reason that we do this in planning and we don't just throw it down to each unit, the unit has major input, is because there needs to be some kind of aggregation, and that's the dashboards. Remember the hideous dashboard I showed you for the board functions? Because the board monitors these elements, right? And so that's why they're specific, because the board needs to be able to know, okay, which elements are we looking at here and here and here? And everything deaggregates and aggregates up. So this is a much more complicated task than what I'm showing you, which is very simple. But the other key here is time-based. So within strategic planning, they're saying every year we'll do this for a 3 or 5 year improvement of 10%. So every year we're going to do this to get an overall this for whatever time period that you want. It doesn't matter what you use, but what matters is that you do it, right? So for example, and I've given you 2 examples here, and I wanted to do that so you could see that, like I said, not everybody's using SMART goals. So this is, for example, strategic goal, and that's their goal: reform, strengthen, and modernize the nation's healthcare system. Okay, well, that doesn't tell me anything, right? That tells me, this organization is interested in reforming, strengthening, and modernizing. But how? How are they going to do it, right? So they're not being specific enough. See, there's SMART. So I need more specific. So I'm going to read you their strategic objective. Ready? Promote affordable healthcare while balancing spending on premiums, deductibles, and out-of-pocket costs. Is that more specific?
Yeah.
But is that specific enough? Like if I said, hey, you, promote affordable healthcare while balancing spending on premiums, deductibles, and out-of-pocket costs in a year. Do you need a little more information?
Yes, definitely.
So do you see how, and that's called a strategic objective for them. So like I said, don't worry so much about what it's being named, worry about the content. And these are the Health and Human Services strategic goals and plan. This is our strategic plan. So it doesn't matter how prestigious an organization is. we all need to just think about these goals, okay? Because then they end up giving you the healthy people 20, what is it now? 2030, 2040? I don't know where we're at now. There's been so many. But then they're very specific, right? What do they tell you? Over the next 10 years, you're going to do this, this, and this. And they give you very specific metrics, don't they? They say reduce by 10%, reduce from this measure to this measure. And they do everything is 10 years. You have a 10-year goal. So they eventually get there, but they call them something completely different. You have a question or?
Yes, Dr. S, real quick. I want to be a little more clear on this before we can move on, so I am not getting confused over and over again. We're using this term SMART for approach and as well for goals. So, so our approach has to be SMART for our goals to or outcome to be SMART, or it's just the approach, like what we do on strategic planning has to be specific, measurable, attainable, or our goals, ultimate outcomes, they have to be measurable and attainable. I am a little bit.
Okay, so that's a great question. So remember, these are used for writing goals, objectives, or strategies. It depends on where your organization is at and what you're tasked with. So if you're given strategies and you're told you need to figure out how to operationalize this within a year, then write it. You could call it a goal, you could call it a strategy, you could call it an objective. Typically, a goal is bigger than an objective, which is bigger than a strategy, right? So a goal is broad, an objective, honestly, goals and objectives in my work have always been used interchangeably. Strategies are very clear mechanical directives. So for me, that's the smartest part of SMART, but you have to be flexible with it. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
You can't say every single thing because you're not going to get every single thing. Ideally, every single thing will be SMART, but that's not going to happen. I guarantee you 100%. That will never happen. So, but at some point, you will want to insist on a deadline. You will want to insist on specificity. You will want to insist on measurement. Because if you don't, if you get down all the way to strategies and people say, okay, so we're gonna improve the number of customers that we get into this specific clinic, and that's a great strategy. And you'll say, well, wait, but that's great. That's a great strategy for improving whatever goal, which is improving reimbursements for this particular clinic. But how many patients did we have before, or customers did we have before? How do we know we can increase it? And how much do we want to increase it by? And how will we increase it? Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily like the goal and objective has to be SMART. Or the strategy has to be SMART. Because sadly, you'll find that it won't be. But it has to be at some point, especially as a manager. And this is why you as a manager, if you have the opportunity to participate in strategic planning, you're going to want to say, okay, well, let's put some boundaries on this. Let's say, because otherwise you may be responsible for promoting all the affordable healthcare and balancing all the spending on premiums and all the deductibles and all of the out-of-pocket costs for the whole hospital. You'll say, wait a second, how about I promote affordable healthcare for this unit, for this period of time, for these specific costs? Doesn't that sound better and more doable than all of it?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thinking I want you to have so that you're paying attention. And that's actually the thinking you can have when you do review any dashboard. So you can say, hey, I look at this dashboard and I think it's wonderful for these metrics, but what is it aligned to? And you'll say, if we are collecting these metrics, they're not aligning to whatever this desired outcome is for the for operations or whatever your division is. That's the hard part. That's that alignment. And that's also why you won't see a smart approach all the time, because it's really hard to be smart when you have to align so many things. It's not easy. Does that kind of make sense? I know it feels like I'm being very ambiguous because I can't give you a specific answer, because that's the hard part about planning, right? So let me move to this next one and see if it helps too. But it's really, the key is, how are you going to do that? So if you're constantly saying, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? Then that will help you shift towards that SMART goal mentality. Okay? So think of it in terms of systems within systems, and whatever, and it's all going to trickle down to you, because as a manager, you're going to be in the operations level. And that's also why it benefits you to be at that strategic executive level, seeing how they plan, seeing like, how do you align this? How do you manage to align this and communicate this so that those specific metrics that you demand from the operational level actually make it so that you get the outcomes that you desire, so that you can get those incentives, those reimbursements that you want, and the performance incentives that you can get from Medicare and Medicaid for reaching those scores. Because it's sadly all about metrics. Not sadly, but there's still a lot of, the jury is still out a lot on whether or not we're actually measuring the right things to benefit patients versus benefiting, whether or not these performance incentives are actually having the effect we desire on the right population. So that's another great question in terms of, if you're interested in topic areas, that's another thing to think about. But strategies are really the big how. I love strategies. I think for me, the SMART approach is where lives in strategies the most, but that's me. I don't want you to feel like, oh, no, I can't think of that for goals, because your organization may think differently. Your organization may not even want to do SMART for anything, and that's their prerogative, right? But for me, strategies are where I think, for me, the rubber really meets the road to get to these benchmarks, which are the goals and objectives. And a benchmark is a general, but pretty clear statement of where you want to be as you get towards that goal of whatever has been planned for your organization. But again, it is also an experiment, right? So when you plan it and you do it, that's also why it's so important to check it, to go back and check. I don't recommend waiting a year to say, well, this was totally the wrong metric. I personally think it's important to test drive it. And hopefully you have experienced planners that have been doing this a long time that know, okay, well, we can try this, but this metric has been stable enough that we have this information or what have you. Because the other thing you have to adapt to are federal regulations, changes in reimbursement, things like that. So it's a lot more complex, which makes it very challenging. So we are going to do strategic planning in, oh, dang it, we lost someone. I think we got him back. I just saw a little thingy. 6 easy steps. Now, again, by saying this, obviously you know that this is not the end all be all for strategic planning. So this is a very, very bird's eye intro to strategic planning. But I want you guys to see think about the steps in the process, because this is where these are some of the things that the key things that you'll have to think about across every organization. But again, every organization is different and unique. You have organizations, and I told you guys this, that they go away for 2-day planning retreats. We do not have that luxury. So the first step is one of my favorite steps, because it's where we review and think about who will be involved. And so between here and step 2 is where we need to think about, who do we have? Who's sitting around? That's the org chart. That's the formal org, right? So this is where you think about who have we hired and changed and shifted around in the last 3 to 5 years, or the last year, if you're one of those organizations that reviews and updates things, or if you're not, and things have changed in 3 to 5 years. This is where you think about, okay, how has the board changed? I'm sorry, not how has the board changed? How has the organization changed? How has the organization grown? Where are we, right? So you need to figure out who you're going to pull in. So this is the where are we, of who are we going to involve? And so you need to think about who needs to be a part of this strategic planning. Obviously the board, but just a subcommittee of the board is sufficient. It doesn't have to be everybody on the board, but you do need to have the people that are going to be doing the plan and contributing to doing the plan and supporting the plan, right? And the people that are going to approve the plan or need to care about the plan. So you have managers, you have staff, employees, you have the governing board, and those that you have a fiduciary duty to. And then the community, to a certain extent, will contribute. And that's usually through the community health needs assessment. So you get an understanding of what your population looks like. So your, Dios mío, ¿cómo se dice? I'm blanking for some reason. Service area, what your service area looks like. And so that's where you look at your population health scan. And every not-for-profit is required to do a community health needs assessment. Not-for-profits do it anyway because it's good. Sorry, I don't know why is it kicking them out or what's going on? But that's where you do your community health. For-profits are not required to do this, but they usually do it just because it's good strategic planning. So you need to know what you have out there. Okay, your next step is to find out where you are now, right? So you have your strategic plan, you know who you have in the org, right? You know who's there, you know who you have, you know who you don't have anymore. So-and-so left, your CEO hopefully still there, things like that. So now you need to look at your internal and external, right? Internal complexity, external uncertainty. So you look at the environment, which you can call an external scan, or you could, whatever you want to call it. And you need to say, okay, how are we looking? How are we looking inside in terms of technology, the human resource, and how are we looking outside? What's going on outside? And so one of the key folks that is related to how you're looking in terms of your position, this is called your strategic position, because hospitals are all hospitals, and we can look at all FQHCs, all nursing homes. Those are all part of the healthcare market, right? So a market is a similar group of providers or similar group of firms that are providing a similar service. And though nursing homes are different and hospitals are different, the market is going to be a hospital market, nursing homes, but healthcare is also a bigger market. So you can think of it in terms of a market within a market within a market, right? And so one really important thing for organizations to think about is, how am I in the market? So, we think about ourselves in terms of competitiveness in the market, right? So, for example, if we think about ourselves as a student in the market, we think, how much experience do I have? Do I need extra training? Do I need an internship? Do I need to do research? How do I make myself look better to be more competitive in the market? What do I need to do, right? Well, hospitals, and like I said, remember, I keep saying hospitals because that's the majority of our evidence, do the same thing as they strategize. So part of the strategic planning is say, where am I? What does my organization look like? Is my vision and my mission still pushing towards the same goals that I have? Because this is all part of strategic planning. You review your vision, your mission, your values. Every 3 to 5 years, you review them. It's very unlikely you'll change much in your vision, mission, and values every 3 to 5 years. If you do, it's probably due to some major event. I've only seen one organization that I worked at change their mission, no, their vision. Is it their vision or one of those two once? And I can't remember what it was for, but it was because it was suggesting that, well, I'll tell you why later, but the suggestion was no longer relevant. So they had to change it. Remember I said, if you say something, you can't achieve it. If your vision is something that is achievable, then there's no more reason for you to exist. That's what their issue was. Okay. So they had to change it because they had to explore their position in the market. And then the other thing you have to consider is, how has our organization changed? The people, the direction, the demands, so the culture, the board and management, again, the org chart, and then outside opportunities, threats, things like that. Okay. Questions? We doing good? All right. Holler at me because I'm getting distracted by requests to come in and things like that. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I do want you to recognize that the organizations will go through a lot of analyses, and they will pay external firms for a lot of these analyses and information because they really, really care about understanding their organization. So if you have expertise in understanding data and understanding what the market looks like for an organization, then you're going to have an additional competitive advantage when you're out in the market yourself as a future employee. But essentially, organizations really care about what is going to impact them, what is currently impacting them, and what can potentially impact them in the future. So they really care about their strategic position. They care about the overall health of the market. So for example, the health sector is a very healthy market, right? Because people will continue to get sick. People will continue to want to seek care, especially right now. There's an abundance of demand, right? So the demand is actually exceeding the current supply of healthcare. That's not necessarily an ideal position either, right? You want to have a relatively equivalent supply and demand. So just to give you a few, this is one example. I think I like this one just because I think it's a pretty complete acronym so that you can remember it. There's many types of scans, but I like it because it kind of gives you like as many possible things to think of and is an easy acronym to remember, because I am very much focused on context. So I think this is always very helpful. So it talks about political, economic, it's called a PESTLE scan. PESTLE, I don't know how to say it correctly. But it makes you think about not just the general market constraints, right? So finance, in terms of market share, how many beds are needed, the demand for beds, things like that, but also political climate, political context. So that means things like regulatory policies, reimbursement policies, economic, social, and cultural policies. So that does have a huge impact on your organizational culture and the types of demands and needs of your employees. Technology, in terms of the training that you're going to need at your organization. Do you have the right people and the right training to address the needs of whatever's happening or coming down the pipeline, right? To provide the right care. Legal, so that's everything that you can think of related to employee certification. Gosh, so many things I can. And then environmental as well. So everything occurring in the environment and how the organization interacts. A lot of it has to do also with population health. How is the organization even interacting with stakeholders, right? So what are the partnerships that occur and things like that? And so this kind of is going to lead into pandemic planning at the very end when we chat a little bit about that. And so this is an oldie but a goodie that helps you think about these things in terms of what's called Porter's force field. And I don't want you to worry about necessarily the semantics of Porter's force field, but I do want you to think about these things in terms of where the organization is. And the current pandemic has put a lot of organizations in a position where they had to really rethink of where they are. They had to really rethink of, am I now in a place where I can do what can I continue doing what I'm doing as how I'm doing it, how I've always done it? And that is something that is unique to what's happening right now with the pandemic. So I can assure you that every organization, if they have never done strategic planning, or if they took a lot longer to plan between planning, they're definitely planning now. So we're going to watch a quick video to explain the 5 forces, and then we're going to give our own planning a try. Oh, wait, make it big. It's supposed to be big. There we go. Is it big?
And profitability is defined by 5 competitive forces. Let's start with your bias.
Well, we can't really hear too much. Do you mind increasing the volume?
Airline industry price competition is fierce because so many travelers just cheapest flight. Then there are your suppliers, who'd ideally like to be paid more and deliver less. Powerful suppliers will use their clout to raise prices or insist on other more favorable terms. A third source of competition comes from substitute products or services that meet the same basic need you do. These aren't always obvious rivals. The toughest competitors may come from different industries. New entrants can also create tension. For instance, Southwest Airlines challenged the industry by flying just one kind of aircraft, reducing costs and allowing it to offer better ticket deals. This pushed other carriers to spend more to retain their customers. Finally, you still have to fight your existing rivals, and intense competition reduces everyone's profitability. The major airlines have been in this position for years, forcing them to defend increasingly narrow profit margins, with fees for exit row upgrades, checked bags, even snacks.
Dr. S, the video is lagging, and so like we're not really hearing anything. Do you mind sending the link in the chat so we can watch it?
Oh no, it's in your slides. So do you guys have access to the slides?
I think because it's a PDF, it won't really let us click on it.
No way. Okay, yeah, I'll send the link right now and then I'll add it to the, I think I put the link. Nope, it's not there. Okay. Oh, rat. Sorry. Let me see how I can do this. Gosh. Hold it. This is not my technology day, you guys. Okay, I'll post it for you guys. Don't worry about it. So I think we're going to get into the same. The point is, though, that the 5 forces wants you to think about how the organization is positioned and who is around that is kind of creating uncertainty and competition for the organization. So that's Porter's force field. Another way to think about it, which I posted in for your readings last week, was the miles and snow typology. And this is a less popular one. And I think it's because it's older, but I like the miles and snow typology because A, it speaks to new organizations entering the market, and B, it speaks to how an organization may look, the structure of it, versus where Porter is really more about, it doesn't think about the structure in and of itself. It's just more about how it's going to go forward. Does that kind of make sense? So I like miles and snow strategy typology because you can consider how the organization is going to react and structure itself, which kind of leads back to our theoretical concepts based on where its initial kind of frame of strategy comes from. Now, what you can do is use Porter's 5 forces to help you think about, if I think about Porter's 5 forces and the strategic positioning of the organization, can I also think about what kind of typology that the, like in terms of the Miles and Snow typology, that the organization might take, so that I can think, is this the right structure for the organization? Is this the right fit? So that I can say, you know, we might consider a different structure. We might consider a different approach. Does that kind of make sense? So when we look at this, and I know you guys had a chance to read the papers. If you haven't had a chance, this is a summary of it, but reading will give you a lot more context. But overall, most organizations are going to be defenders or prospectors because they're either focused on growing or they're focused on staying as they are. Okay, so meaning, you know, not losing their market share, so maintaining their market share. And so these are going to be the big stable organizations or the very productive organizations. So Amazon, for example, is a prospector. So when you think of prospector, think of like the olden, you know, the prospector, like the miners that are always looking for gold. That's an Amazon, right? A defender is right now pretty much every hospital trying to keep its doors open because they're not taking any risks. They're not trying to, they're not really trying to do anything but just stay as they are, right? And then you have the analyzers that are kind of hybrids, but they're agile, right? So they're able to do what they want to. They are able to adapt to change, and they're able to innovate somewhat, but they're definitely not. They're not growing. They're more like testers, right? So that would be something like, well, I used to say Tesla, but now they're definitely prospectors. So like Tesla about 5 years ago, where they were kind of innovating a lot of different things, but they really weren't growing like they're growing now. I haven't found a good alternative. So I always say like Tesla a few years ago. But if you have an idea, that would be awesome. Hang on, I gotta see the chat. Okay, so nobody has, okay. But does that kind of make sense? Yes, no, a little bit?
Dr. S, on the slide in front of defender says protect turf. Is that short form for what? I am not sure. It says protect TURF.
Turf, yes.
Turf.
I'm not sure I understand the question, I'm sorry.
So protect turf, what does that mean, turf?
Turf. Like AstroTurf, you know, like your grass.
I understand that. Okay, okay, that's what it means. All right. I thought it had something to do with terminology here. Got it.
Oh, no, yeah, it's a little slangy, isn't it? So that's actually a good point. I apologize. I don't like colloquialisms often. I just realized that.
No, the thing is, there was a period after TURF, not a comma. So I just thought it was
like an abbreviation.
The abbreviation.
Thing about that is a terrible sentence, isn't it? But it really is. It's protect turf. So it's really like protect what's directly in front of you. So it's really just whatever they're holding on to right now. No diversification. Well, there could be some, but really it's just holding on to what you're doing right now and keep costs low. So there could be some cutting, there could be some, you know, there could be some closures of some low revenue lines, service lines, things like that. But really not to the point of reactors. Reactors are organizations that are really not going to be, they're the ones that didn't plan for 5 years and didn't think about planning and don't plan to plan, that are gonna have issues because they're not really, I like the word drift. They're drifting because maybe there was really poor alignment with their strategies, their boots on the ground, and their vision and mission. So they're not sure exactly what's happening right now. I like the analogy of the left hand and the right hand. Don't know what they're doing or something like that. I don't remember. But anyway, and this is, as usual, going very slowly as I talk too much. And another way to, well, I won't go into that, but so moving into the future. So now that you know everything that's going to threaten you and everything to be afraid of, but also excited about, you think about the future. Where are we going? So I'm going to skip that because the SWOT analysis everybody knows about. And this is where we start planning. We know everything that that we're supposed to be afraid of, that we don't want, that we do want. Okay, I do need to do this one. This is the most typical. I don't like the SWOT analysis. I'm sorry. It is the most simple and very, very helpful, right? Do you want it? Do you have it? This is good to know your strengths, right? I warn you, be very careful about weaknesses and opportunities and threats, because I prefer you do the PESTLE and the typologies and these guys. Because if you do this one, oops, oy vey, you're at very high risk of oversimplifying and not contextualizing the reality of your organization. That's why I don't love the SWOT. So that's why I put it, but make sure that, remember, simplify as much as you can, but not oversimplify, okay? So now, where are we going? Now that you know, especially your strengths, always focus on your strengths. I want you always focusing on strengths, because it is very easy to find all the reasons not to do something, all the reasons why it's hard, all the reasons why it's going to not work. But it's much harder to focus on the strengths. So focus on your strengths. And this is the future part. This is where we're going. So this is where you think about, okay, well, I want to think about my priorities, what I care about the most. And I like strategic plans that do phases. So phases allow me, because I'm a big like stuffer. So I like to not discard things that I know are not possible right away, but I don't like to throw them away. So I put those as my phase 3, which is usually what gets rolled into the next strategic plan. But I always like to think, well, maybe one day, so that you're always constantly thinking about the future, right? So things that are impossible, like a whole new wing of the hospital, that's a huge capital investment commitment. Probably not likely in the next 6 months, but down the road, maybe. Big thing to take away from this is do not make too many goals. Do not make too many strategies, because then you get completely overwhelmed. The strategies and the boots on the ground, that's where they'll have the dashboard that will aggregate up. Remember, you're the board. You're planning, right? Because if you start here and do 35 different goals and strategy, and you're like, oh, and I want this, and I want this, and I want this, guess what's going to happen? Because remember, each of your units is going to contribute to this, and they're going to do their own little plans, right? And that's going to aggregate up. Can you imagine what your dashboard is going to look like? It's going to be impossible to monitor. And then if things don't get done, there's going to be a sense of failure. So think about that in terms of what is important to me at this level, at the level that you're at, right? Then the how, right? So how will you get there? So 4 and 5 are kind of the same. Where and how will we get there? Okay. So you want to think about resources, operational aspects. So who, name names, systems and structures, where, and then I didn't put time, but smart. So smart occurs there. Okay. So, and then you can read this on your own, but my point is, if you've seen one, you've seen one. Here's one example, very visual, not very detailed. More detailed and very visually unappealing. Okay. And then you monitor and you review and you review and you review. And that's it. That's all you do. Okay. So this is what you do. I call it VMOSA. Vision, mission, objectives, goals, strategy, action plan. So this is what occurs down at the units. Because you need to roll out the strategic plan, right? You need to get buy-in and roll it out to each of the units, things like that. So how do you plan in a pandemic? How do you do this in a pandemic? The biggest difference is A, focus on your strengths. Focus on what the organization is doing strongly first. Think about your position in the market. And then think about what to diversify, differentiate, or make dormant in your within. So what that means. So you saw what happened when COVID hit. Does anybody know what happened within the hospitals? Real quick, that happened when COVID hit?
There was no plan.
No, there was not. It felt that way. It felt that way. But you'd be surprised because what was the first thing that happened?
Didn't they stop doing surgeries that were optional?
Yes, who said that?
Jenny Tillman.
Yes. All elective surgeries were cut off. So
Run out of supplies.
Sorry?
We ran out of supplies.
Yeah. Wait, tell me again, I'm sorry.
I said we ran out of supplies.
Yes, we did run out of supplies. Yes, we completely ran out of supplies. So, you know, a good question is what happened first? Did we run out of supplies or did we stop elective surgeries? I'm guessing that kind of happened at the same time. But we had to think about where do we funnel resources, right? So think about deferrable and non-deferrable services. For example, OBGYN is not deferrable, right? You can't stop women from giving birth. You know, that's not a timeline you can control, right? So we had to think about what's deferrable, what's not deferrable. So, and there are consequences to that, right? So there will be consequences to that down the road. But we had to think about what's the most urgent, emergent issues, and then what can we defer? And so that's what you have to think about with pandemic planning. You cannot not plan. You have to plan. And that's why you have to plan beforehand, because you have to know where your resources are. You have to know what resources you do have and don't have, where your position is in the market, who your allies are, where your partners are. And that's why it's so good to have population health-based partnerships in the community with industry. That whole make or buy relationship, critical because of things like this, unforeseen things like this. Let me see what the chat says. Yes, exactly. Elective surgeries shut down, including cancer surgeries. Exactly, especially, for example, solid tumors were considered, there was a decision rule in terms of some delays, and we're going to see the consequences of that. And to some extent, and we're not going to know exactly fully the extent of that. My hope is that it is not significant on the people affected. So, but it's devastating, The other, on the flip side, is we kept whinging about technology and the change to telemedicine and how impossible it was. And look at the transition to telemedicine from single digits to nearly 100% capacity for all hospitals in what is an unprecedentedly short time. So that's the other flip side to that. Okay, on that note, I want you guys to shift into your groups. I'm gonna give you guys like a 2-minute break. I know we're once again at the tail end of time, but I do at least want us to plan together very briefly. But now at least you guys know how to do your org chart activity for your homework. So let me stop sharing this. Are there any questions, first of all? Okay. So my first question is, are there any questions about the homework? I know I'm not gonna turn off all the videos that I clearly did not succeed with today. So excited. Okay, so I wanted to show you. So the whole point of your first homework, which I know seems delayed, but hopefully you guys are okay with the extra time, is that I want you guys to practice doing an org chart, even though for some reason we can't seem to find any for half the organizations in here. Did anybody find an org chart for their organization? When we broke out into groups, was anybody successful in finding an org chart? Nobody? You've
Our
got
group just found a list.
What?
Our group just found a list, but it was in a chart.
That cannot be the case. That's insane. Okay, well, I'm going to show you some org charts then. So in the meantime, what I'm going to do is we're going to do a group activity. Instead of even just breaking out partial org chart, you've got to be kidding me. This is terrible, you guys. Okay, organizations should show their org chart. You should judge organizations that don't do this. The one caveat is if it's a large organization, they should at least have unit level org charts. So let's say there's a multi-divisional health system, right? Then they should at least have an org chart for the cancer unit, the thoracic unit, something. But the fact that there's no org chart is so problematic because it speaks to A, the high turnover, and B, the poor planning and organization that occurs. And that's a problem. I still can't believe that not a single one has an org chart. I fail to believe that, but that's okay. So what I want you guys to do is on Canvas, on our course, I want you guys to go to our module for today. And we're gonna at least practice writing out some of our goals and strategies. And I'm gonna let you guys try to guess what we're gonna, please do not Google it. If you Google it, you'll immediately know. It's not like it's a big secret. But I would like for you to try. Where'd it go? So if you click here, I've prepared a little Jamboard. I gotta make it bigger so I can see. Oh, it's getting smaller. What did I do? Oh, it's okay. Well, it looks, what the heck? Okay, forget it. So I prepared a little Jamboard with a vision and a mission. And I want you guys, we'll do it as a class in the interest of time. I want you guys to write a goal and or a strategy and use the little Post-its here. If you've never used a Jamboard, you just use this little Post-it note here. And if you're gonna write an objective, write it in green. If you're gonna write a strategy, write it in blue. And I want you to try to write a one-year strategic plan for this organization. Does anybody have any questions, or do you not understand what to do? If you have any questions, let me know.
Dr. S, can you repeat all that one more time? I was just trying to get to how to, just trying to get on the.
Oh yeah, here. So if you go to our view section of week 6,
yeah,
scroll past the slides,
yeah,
right here, class activity link to Jamboard, and you click on that guy.
Okay.
And then it's going to open up, oopsies. It's going to go open up here.
Okay, and then what do we do after that? I'm here on this.
I want you to read the vision, read the mission. Don't Google it. I want you to think what organization this might be. Okay?
Okay, just based on the vision and mission, just think what organization, like, do we have to guess a name or just what kind of
No.
organization?
Remember what I said about the mission. A mission may not tell you the specific name, but you should know what kind of organization it is.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you.
And then I want you to try to write a goal or a strategy for this vision and mission that you see. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Just give it a try. Don't cheat and Google it. This is a real organization. That's why I put X. Hey, what are you doing?
Sorry, I'm on my phone and I'm trying to do this with my internet. My computer went out, so I accidentally moved it. Did not mean to mess up the jam board.
I'm totally teasing you. If you want to, you can put your mission or vision in the chat and I can transfer it if you're having trouble. Not a problem.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
How specific do the goals or strategies have to be?
Well, however you want it to be. It can be as smart as you want or not smart. Just give it a try. There's no right answer, I promise.
So I'm confused. Where do I click on something and write it? Like,
oh,
where am I typing?
You see my little symbol? So you click here.
Okay.
And then
got it.
Depending on how specific you feel like you're feeling super specific, you go blue. If you're not sure, you go green.
Thank you.
No problem. Hey guys, we're not actually using these in the strategic plan, so no pressure, okay? All right, good, keep it up. Mi amor, estoy dando clase. You're doing great. Oh, I see a green. That should be a blue. That's a good one. Ooh, that's another green that should be a blue. Oh. All right. We're going to start just looking at these. Now remember, what's the rule? There's two rules, but that I kind of talked about, but the very most important rule of all of them is in our 1-year strategic plan is what? Of any strategic plans. Does anybody remember what's the golden rule?
Was it to not have too many goals?
That's another really good one. That's more of a rule of thumb, but yes, that's a really important one. So yes, that's a really good one. but of all of them, I used one word. Starts with an A.
Alignment.
Yes. Align, align, align. So let's look at some of these. And would you say all the goals align for the most part with the mission and the vision? Okay, so that's the first decision rule I want you to go through and look at. So when we look at some of these, we're like, do these align? And then we think, if they don't perfectly align, would they align as a strategy, right? So if the goal aligns to the mission, but maybe the specific goal you had it in, maybe it's better as a strategy. Does that make sense? So if you want to be more specific, then you can shift it over. Excuse me. So the other one is, what are some great strategies, and do they align with the goals and objectives and then the mission? So do you see how it gets a little bit harder if you're asked to align them? So for example, what's a really good goal that we liked? I'm going to pick one. I like this one. Let's align some stuff to that. What would you align to that? Very good.
And there's also one that's talking about just in education for patients when they get diagnoses. That could align with that too.
Yeah, go ahead and move it. Where is it? Where'd it go? Okay, here's another one. I'm gonna move it a little bit. Here's another one. How about that one? You see any alignment? You can stick them right on there, just like. Very good. Now you're getting it. Here's another good one. And if it doesn't fit, make it a new goal, right? And then you realize, hey, I need to build this out more. This needs more. Maybe you need, there was a good one about diversity and, oh, there it is. That's a good one. Oh, health equity, those are very aligned actually. Good, very good. Oh, we need some fiscal goals. We had one. Good. So this was a great strategy, and then we forgot the goals. So that's good. Because it's the unsung, unsexy goal, right? Good job, you guys. All right, so does this kind of make sense? How this kind of works?
I like this activity.
Well, good, I'm glad. You know, honestly, I was like, how on earth am I going to do strategic planning online? But we've been playing with Jamboards and faculty, so we talk about it a lot. But I'm glad, because I was like, let's see how this works. So this was what I was going to have you guys do in groups, but in the interest of time, I thought it'd be fun to do together. So I'm glad it worked. But you can see also that it's very iterative, right? So if you have one that's just kind of dangling out there and you have a strategy but no goal, then you can think, you know, let's build this out. Let's build that tail, more strategies, and then make an overall goal because it aligns with our values or whatnot. So did anybody look and see what organization this is? I'll show you here as we close up today. Oopsies. It's Mayo.
Oh, the Mayo Clinic. Okay.
And so, by the way, they do not have either an org chart or their stinking strategic plan, because I looked everywhere. But they do have these visions, which can give you an idea of what their goals are. So you can see that their goals are going to be, and look what you guys were talking about. So you can see that you were actually quite online. And look at this reinvestment. So these are financial goals. And they are a Catholic-owned hospital. So they have the Catholic or the religious mission, which is a very small proportion of hospitals now that have mostly been partnered or bought up. So that's that resource dependence element. So I thought you'd find that interesting as well. So with that, I wanted you guys to see that that you can actually work backwards and determine a lot of information from a hospital just from their vision and mission. And you can see that it really does make a difference in terms of what they're doing. So what you'll do is, for your homework, please look at the organization. You're not doing any vision or mission, but I do want you to look at their org charts. There are tons of org charts online. So I want you guys to have a look at some of them. I wanted to show you this because this is what you'll normally see is a big, like subsets of org charts, right? So you'll notice that there's elements of the org chart, or you'll see like the management structure, and then you'll see the nursing organization. So that's not uncommon. The hospital that I gave you for your homework is a very small hospital. So you're not going to have such a large organization. But I want you to see that these lines are direct, right? Direct supervisions. And this dotted line is what? It means that they don't report to any of these folks, like they report to the management organization, okay? So when it's a dotted line, it's either an alliance or an indirect report. And I've given you most of those, where did I put that? There it is. I've given you most of this information in the assignment, but I want you to give that a try in the org chart activity. So I've given you a lot of the helpful terms, and I've given you some org chart information. Okay? So I want you to think of, well, I did have you do a vision and mission. I'm sorry. So I do want you to think of a vision and mission for your organization. It's any organization you can think of. It's X hospital because it's not a real hospital. You are making it, which means it's your vision, your mission, right? So what should your vision and mission tell me? It should describe, I should look at that mission and know I'm looking at a hospital. It doesn't need to be exactly this hospital. It just needs to tell me the boundaries of this hospital. Much like if it's a cancer hospital or if you do research, it should tell me that. I don't think they do research at this hospital. No, they do not. Does that make sense?
Professor, so quick question. So this is kind of like a pretty clear example. So we kind of make up our own hospital, give the boundaries of like if it's in an urban, and then kind of do a quick description like you have here. We draw the, or would we kind of do a similar?
It's rural. You have to use these parameters.
Okay, so we're not making, so we are using this example. We're not like writing up our own hospital.
Yes. No, you have to use this. This is your hospital.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yes, this is your hospital. It's just not a real hospital. It's a hospital sample.
And yes, real quick. So the second question is, what type of form is organizational structure? So based on this write-up of this fictional or hospital that we have here, we are gonna answer this question about the structure, correct? Whether it's functional or divisional or matrix.
You tell me what you drew.
Okay. So we can pick, like, we can pick our org structure to be functional or divisional or matrix, or whatever we draw, we just have to tell you this is what we drew.
Yeah, it just has to make sense. But make sure that you don't work with each other, because the whole goal is you're going to see, even though you all are using the same information, every single org chart is going to look different.
So it could be either or, like we can pick it to be functional or we can pick it to be divisional. Like we can do our org chart by departments, like how a functional org chart looks like, or a divisional, like we have a CEO or an executive or a vice president or senior vice president.
Well, my recommendation is you start drawing it, and that kind of helps you decide.
Okay.
You typically don't decide a priority. It kind of comes out as you're drawing it. Does that kind of make sense?
Yes. Okay. Just read it and then just draw it, and then how we think.
Yeah, start scribbling, and then you'll start to see like the shape. And I suggested Lucid charts or PowerPoint, but if you don't have those, you can hand draw it. Just try to take a pretty clear picture for me, because I do want to comment on it. So upload the Word doc.
Awesome. Thank you.
Does that make sense? Because it doesn't have to be anything very fancy. I just want to be able to see and make sure that if you have any dotted lines or straight lines, that's clear to me. I just need to be able to see that clearly.
And Professor, real quick, so this is like an individual assignment, because I know last week we were thinking about doing a group assignment with, I think, an org chart, but is this now going to be an individual assignment instead?
This has always been the individual assignment.
Oh, okay, just kidding.
Yeah, no, the group assignment is what we just did. And
okay.
That again in your small groups with a different mission and vision, but we ran out of time.
Okay, so that makes sense. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
No. These are individual. Yes, I'm a lot slower than I have been intending, so I apologize. But we will definitely be doing cases and management starting first thing next week. And so your assignment 2 that's supposed to drop today is going to drop next week instead. And so that'll push back our take-home quiz as well, 1 week. So I am tracking the timing of everything, and I'll try not to stack it too much.
I have a question about grading of the discussion posts. Are you still grading the week 3 and 4?
Yes, I'm working on that. Sorry, I'm a little behind on that. Yes.
Thank you. Just wanted to make sure.
Okay. Any other questions on the assignment? Yes, no, everybody good? So does everybody understand then what to do with the hospital assignment? So this hospital needs you to make it an org chart for them. You're their consultant.
Dr. S, I'm sure when we'll start actually doing the assignment, we will run into some maybe problems. Okay, we don't understand this. What should we do? Can we always email you?
Yeah, and do me a favor. We should have I usually have a general discussion on like a pin discussion, and I don't seem to have one on this one. So let me make one. So just general questions, and I'll make that so that it's always open. And you can always just ask general questions here, and I'll make sure that I'm getting, it should always notify me. So this should be the general, and it should just be ready. There we go. There you go, right there, okay?
Thank you.
Of course. And I'll try to monitor it as much as I can, but if I miss anything, you can email me or just let me know, but I should be able to see that pretty often. And that way, if somebody has a similar question, they can see it as well. If you feel uncomfortable and you want to just directly email me, please don't hesitate to do that either. I don't want you to feel like you can't reach out to me. But yes, I am way behind on grading. I'm sorry, I'm on it. So that's all I have for today. I'm going to stop sharing and stop recording.